Speedboat strike causes traffic chaos. Correlation scrutiny accused of embezzlement. And government launches oil block auctions. I am Rico Bulford, and this is Uncut News. Do you see news happening? Send us a tip on WhatsApp at 592-659-6151. The government has spent the whole day allocating every state-owned vehicle possible in the wake of a massive strike by Demerara speedboat captains, just 2 days after the Maritime Administration Department issued a notice that there is no increase in the fare from Starbrook to Vreeden Hoop. The captains are reportedly demanding a $200 fare on weekends instead of $100, citing the rising cost of business expenses, although they've always been doing this. Anyway, the government said it is sourcing army buses and Essequibo boat captains to help ferry commuters across the river. No word if they have engaged the striking captains themselves as yet. Tajaram Mohabir has resigned from his post as editor-in-chief of Guyana Chronicle, stepping down after managing the state-run propaganda rag for around 2 years. Mohabir had reportedly complained of being undermined by a group of staffers and other media workers associated with Chronicle for the past several months. Meanwhile, some staff members complained about his management style and his competence for the position. Nonetheless, Mohabir said his resignation will take effect from the 13th of December 2022. His replacement has yet to be selected. On Anti-Corruption Day, U.S. Ambassador Sarah Ann Lynch, British High Commissioner Jane Miller, Canadian High Commissioner Mark Berman, and EU Ambassador Renee Van Ness declared in a joint statement their desire to see Guyana institute more initiatives to tackle corruption, saying, quote, "As the year draws to a close, we look forward to more initiative by the Guyanese government to address and eventually root out corruption. Guyana's sturdy anti-corruption policies, together with swift responses to evidence-based cases of corrupt practices, will clearly demonstrate to Guyana citizens and the rest of the world that the government is committed to transparency, accountability, and responsiveness for the future benefit of all Guyanese." End quote. The four envoys noted the steps currently being taken by the government, but said that the battle requires far more than just robust legislation. It requires actual action on actual obvious cases of corruption. I mean, come on, it's in our faces, but we're doing absolutely nothing about it. Meanwhile, Carol Smith-Joseph, the chief scrutineer of the APNU AFC, was accused of 16 counts of fraud this morning connected to her work with the Mahaika Abere Rice Development Scheme, Rice Milling Complex Limited, as its director in 2016. Soku had accused her of embezzling over $6.1 million in funds from the mill during that period. Joseph has not yet been charged and has been asked to return to Soku on December 16, 2022. But how much would you bet that she really would not even face court? I mean, come on, whatever happened to Jagdio, or even our president, or even James Bond, or even Jordan? I mean, come on, the list goes on. This is actually getting ridiculous, man. Now, you're either going to get the people who are actually committing these corrupt acts, or just let them go. Just the other day, a permanent secretary of a ministry is caught red-handed, and absolutely nothing happens of that case. At this point, we might as well just make corruption legal, because this is absurd. Okay, let me stop. This is probably a feature for another stupid news. So enough ranting, back to the news. The IDB has approved US $97 million in financing to strengthen Guyana's healthcare network, including expanding 7 hospitals and leading the digital transformation of the health sector. Under the project, there will be improved capacity at 7 hospitals in regions 1, 8, and 9, as well as the Georgetown Public Hospital, the Linden Hospital, and the New Amsterdam Hospital, and also to provide for extended coverage of diagnostic exams and medical consultation. It will also increase the efficiency of the public health system by supporting improvements in infrastructure, logistics, management, and processes. In addition, the telehealth activities, which will be installed in over 15 health facilities nationwide, will reach all 10 of the nation's regions, including the hinterlands.
Did you know it's bad luck to start the new year with a Brock-up truck? Make this a December to remember with Powered Automotive. Powered Automotive has truck parts and spares from all the major brands you know and love at prices you won't find anywhere else. Visit them at 491 EE Eccles or call or WhatsApp them on 697-0171. Save big on truck parts at Powered Automotive, the #1 heavy-duty truck parts store in Guyana.
You can multiply your cash by selling Digicel Top-Up. This is a legit way you can earn some extra money at your business or to supplement your current hustle. Become a top-up vendor quick and easy by linking with Cellular Plus. Call them on telephone number 685-3109 for more info.
Today, the Ministry of Education signed a U.S. $2.6 million contract for the completion of outstanding works at the Good Hope Secondary School. The contract for this project, which is being funded by the World Bank, was awarded to Dean and partners. The contract includes the installation of electrical and plumbing fixtures, repainting the facility, finishes to windows, doors, roofs, remedial works to the floors, and much, much more. The works are expected to be completed by June 30th, 2023. 3 GCOM employees, Denise Bab Cummings, Sherfrin Ferry, and Michelle Miller, have each been ordered to pay $70,000 in court costs to the state by January 16th of next year after their request to get out of the election COI was denied. Their hearing has been adjourned until February 2nd, 2023, by which time the state must file a defense. Yesterday, 51-year-old Errol Williams was charged with drunk driving. Williams pleaded guilty. He was subsequently fined $60,000 or alternatively 3 months imprisonment. Telling you, they have real light sentences for these drunk driving charges. Yesterday, Guyana celebrated 50 years of diplomatic relations with Cuba and hailed decades of assistance in the medical and educational fields from Havana. In a release yesterday, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs spoke of it as being the golden jubilee of formal diplomatic relations and celebrated the strong bonds of cooperation and friendship, of solidarity and mutual respect, which join our two nations, while looking forward to the further strengthening of bilateral relations in the years ahead. Now for today's oil update. Today, the government officially launched the first auction for the development of 14 oil blocks offshore Guyana. Our president said the competitive bidding round is expected to close by the 14th of April 2023, and new contracts will be awarded by the end of May 2023. He noted that the oil blocks on auction are for shallow and deep water areas. There will be a minimum signature bonus requirement of US $10 million for shallow water and US $20 million for deep water blocks. Guyana is estimated to have potential resources in excess of 25 billion barrels of oil equivalent offshore and an estimated reserve in excess of 11 billion barrels of oil equivalent.
As an independent online news entity, being politically objective can cost you a lot of money in lost sponsorship opportunities. That's because most local companies are often too scared to associate themselves with a news entity that is uncompromising with the truth. We do appreciate our sponsors, as their support is what has allowed us to maintain our integrity without fear and remain dedicated to you, our viewers. Every night, thousands of viewers rely on Uncut News because they are tired of the biased and poorly presented mainstream media in Guyana. But to truly compete, we need your help to grow Uncut News from being the most watched online news to the most watched news in Guyana, period. Help us by becoming a monthly subscriber today. There are special rewards at every subscription level, including your name in the credits, personalized gifts, and more. Your monthly contribution helps us to stay independent by spending less time worrying about paying the bills and more time on keeping you informed. So click the link in the description of this video and become a subscriber today.
Now it's time to tell you about Best Buy's Car of the Week. Currently on sale is this 2016 Toyota Crown Athlete. It comes with Bluetooth mount rims, new tires, TV, CD, stereo, fog alarm, spot camera, and much, much more. Buy cash for $9.95 million, or pay as low as $1.99 million down with around $170,000 monthly for 5 years, and it is yours. Call or WhatsApp 662-0844 for more info. Visit the showrooms at 171 Peter Street, Queenstown. A lot to Amashi.
And tell them they're getting for this sweet deal.
It's December, which means it's officially robbery season. That's why you need to get security from Sheriff Security. Sheriff Security has armed and unarmed guards, Marine Patrol, Canine Services. These people even got drones. Why? Because your security is their highest priority. You've seen the rest. Now hire the best. Hire Sheriff Security Service today.
Now for our Uncut News, here's poll question of the day. Every day we pose a question about current events in Ghana, the region, the diaspora, and how you feel it leads to us. Last night I asked, how do you feel about GCOM investigating Up News claims? But before we get into that, I want to say a special thanks to David Griffith. He's our first monthly supporter. We really appreciate your contribution, and we'll be sure to keep up the good work. Jay Jiram says, in all fairness, GCOM should investigate the claims. This will prove that Guyana is at least trying to move away from corruption. I agree. Willow Darrow says, well, if APNU believes there's an issue, I think it's only fair for GCOM to investigate it, unlike the last general elections when APNU questioned the voters list, but nothing was done. That's also a good point. Now for tonight's question. We're supposed to be receiving millions of dollars from the upcoming oil auctions. What do you think the government should do with that money? Should they turn around and use it to develop the oil industry even further, or should it go into something else to develop the nation? I want you to think about that question. Tell us in the comments below. If your response is good enough, we just might feature it in our next episode. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight, and check us out on Monday for another. Until then, I'm Rico Bullfoot saying, have a great weekend. And as always, don't drink and drive, or you'll end up on Monday's episode the hard way. Ha-ha! Good night, folks.